At the Northern Colorado Liberty Group's September meeting, guest speaker Luke Korkowski took questions from the crowd. He's a Republican running for the U.S. Senate seat in Colorado.
We introduce our first guest speaker tonight. This is Luke Korkowski. He's running for U.S. Senate, and he drove all the way from Crested Butte to be with us tonight. So, 5-hour drive. So, for those of you that haven't been to his website yet, he describes himself as different, inspiring, problem-solving, and good. So, think that's how politics and government should be, right?
Okay.
Yes. So, with that, you have the floor.
I guess I should clarify that. I describe my campaign that way, not myself that way. I hope it's inspiring, and I hope it's good. It's certainly different. My name is Luke Korkowski. I am running for the United States Senate. You probably haven't heard of me before, and you're probably used to hearing some politicians talk at you. I'm not going to do that. One of the things that I want to do is I want to return power back to individuals from the government. So we're going to model that right here. You have the power. At my great political risk, you have the power over this conversation. What do you want to know?
Tell me what you're going to repeal and abolish.
I only have 15 minutes.
If it's shorter, tell us what you keep.
Priorities to repeal and abolish. Priorities, the Fed. That's number one priority, is to abolish. Beyond that, the income tax. I do favor a national retail sales tax, although I'm not a fan of it. I think it's probably something that we need to do. So I give half-hearted support to that. What else would I repeal and abolish? Most everything authorized under the Commerce Clause. There would be several cabinet departments, Commerce, HUD, HHS, so forth. Now, I'm not running for president, I'm not running for dictator. So, understand there's a limit to what I can actually achieve. But as far as what I want to do, that's what I want to do. Generally, I want to repeal and abolish anything that is not authorized by the text of the Constitution. I emphasize the text, not what the U.S. Supreme Court necessarily has said that it means, but what the text says. That's my governing law. That's my governing principle, is we have to have rule of law. So anything that's not explicitly authorized, I fight to repeal, abolish, or vote no. Is that a sufficient answer for you, or do you want me to go on?
No, that's good.
Okay. Yes, sir.
How would you approach the current health reform crisis?
Yeah, here you go. How would I approach the current health reform crisis? Is that right? I'm trying to stay out of the spotlight there. I do have a bald head, blinding. How would I approach that? I've actually written about this on my website a good bit. And there are a couple of different ways to approach it. It depends on what you mean by your question. Philosophically, practically, morally. Let me just touch on a couple of those.
All of those.
Okay. Michael Bennett, who is the Democrat that I'm running against, he sent out an email several weeks ago that said healthcare is a moral obligation. He's right. Unless he means it must be fulfilled by the government. Healthcare is a moral obligation. I am primarily responsible for my own healthcare. I am morally responsible. And then I'm also morally responsible for my wife's, my children's healthcare. And as my relationships get more and more distant, I am less morally responsible, although I still am to some degree. In some very small degree, I could say I'm morally responsible for some Tanzanians' healthcare. But since I don't know any Tanzanians, very small degree to which I'm morally responsible for that. So I think your moral responsibility decreases as the quality of your relationship decreases, the distance of your relationship decreases. So in that sense, what I assumed Michael Bennett meant by that was that it is a moral obligation that the government step in and take care of our healthcare system. And that I take issue with, because groups cannot have moral obligations. Moral obligations adhere to individuals. So I took issue with his analysis, what I assumed his statement meant. That's the moral approach. Philosophical approach to healthcare. The government distorts prices whenever it steps in and does something. That's why healthcare costs are so high. So philosophically, I want the government out as much as possible. That's what I fight for. Practically, what does that mean? It means voting against anything that's unconstitutional. Voting to repeal, introducing legislation that repeals other legislation that is unconstitutional. Included in that would be Medicaid, Medicare. I don't think the VA system is necessarily unconstitutional, but it's close, and it's certainly not efficient. So even if it were constitutional, we need to look for a better way to take care of our servicemen. And primarily, I think that's giving them more cash. That's going to lead to the most economically efficient choices for them than a government running a healthcare system. Did I cover all those? Philosophical, moral, and practical? So basically, it's a lot of voting no as far as the practical goes. And then persuading as many people as I can. Sufficient answer, or would you like more?
In Theory TV is a live interactive video show. I broadcast on boldvoices.tv, channel 6, as well as intheory.tv. In theory, we live in a rational world with liberty and justice for all. Let's explore the possibilities.